It is a huge 3 points. Martin Keown's with Simon and myself this morning. When you look at it, Martin, they claim a great win and they ease any distant relegation fears. You'll hear that confirmed by David Moyes very shortly. But you said this would happen. I've got to say to you, you said Manchester United would stutter in terms of their top 4 bid, and we're seeing it, are we?
Well, we are, because Liverpool have just won 6 games on the bounce. So, of course, that's all important that they keep that pressure up. And, Manchester United away from home, Jim, there's 2 defeats now on the trot. I do feel still now, I said the Villa game was really significant, and they won that at home. They've got 3 home games, albeit Wolves, Chelsea, Fulham, and 1 away game, and that probably will save them, Jim, because their away form is really not good enough. But the next game up is all important. Liverpool are away at Leicester, home to Villa, and away at Southampton. So you'd like to think really maybe they're just going to storm through those games. Never easy, of course. But Man United need to pull up now, because if they don't, they're going to throw it away, Jim. Yeah.
I left last night, Martin. I could hear some mutterings amongst some of the United supporters about De Gea. Where do you stand in De Gea? Because it was a shot from Ben Rama that I think most of us could have had an attempt at saving. De Gea had an attempt, but kind of helped it in. He has these moments.
He had one at Brentford.
He's got it in him, hasn't
away
he?
From home. He just seems to lose concentration. His passing as well. I'm not sure what happens. This is an incredibly experienced player, played an awful lot of Premier League games, and every now and again, Jim, he just stopped. That was such he could have put his foot on it, really, I suppose. Yeah. And it was really a poor goalkeeping, and it puts them in a lot of trouble. They've still got the FA Cup final to work towards, Jim. They could still end up in the top 4. So they're trying to rescue their season. The manager, of course, is trying to keep him on board, wants him to sign a new deal. But look, he knows he's made a real howler, and he's put him under enormous pressure for the rest of the season.
The race for Champions League football, you would think, Simon, is back on. Which United is looking more vulnerable to the chasers, Manchester or Newcastle?
Neither.
Go on.
Neither. They'll both finish inside the top 4. Liverpool, okay.
They'll both finish inside the top 4?
Yeah.
What makes you so confident about that?
Because they're both good sides. They've both got enough about them and enough points on the board to achieve it. We're making a case for Liverpool. We'll make a case for Brighton. I think if you look at Manchester United's run in of Wolves, Fulham and Chelsea at home, I expect them to probably win all 3 of those games. I'll certainly get 7 points out of them, and that will do it. And that's the end of the discussion. Newcastle have been in a remarkable vein of form, besides the loss against Aston Villa. They've had one moment. Eddie Howe will regroup. Didn't like the result yesterday. Didn't take it as gracefully as I thought he might. Yeah. But then again, you show me a good loser and I'll show you a loser, I suppose. And we can debate about what losers look like if we want, Rio. I just believe that those 2 sides, on the balance of probability, will be in there. You can make a case for Liverpool.
Well, Tony's making a case. Liverpool fan. United look tired. Liverpool look fresh, Simon. Players are coming back from long-term injury.
It's quite flippant of you to say it in that manner, but Wolves have actually did really well at the weekend, didn't they? Looked like they were on the way back.
That's right. And Wolves the previous week got handed their head 6.
They did.
So they should. If they didn't give a reaction back, they should be ashamed of themselves.
But look at the Man United closely that you're actually playing against. So you've got Luke Shaw playing centre half. I'm not really sure why they're doing it. You've got an Eriksen in midfield. Which is maybe making him a little bit vulnerable defensively.
Which is
only
Rashford. Theory.
Fernandes, of course, we know is a good player. There's only Rashford that would really frighten you defensively. So what are you really up against now that you're playing against this Man United team? Is it really that good? Is it really full of riches? Is it full of quality?
No, but neither are Liverpool. Liverpool are having a slight moment at the moment. It was a week ago that Liverpool strode into a 3-0 lead and then huffed and puffed and almost gave the game away to Tottenham. A Tottenham side that we religiously and relentlessly say have got no backbone, no substance, and couldn't find their backsides with both hands in a funnel. So we're in that situation where we actually got to compare like to like. I think Manchester United are not a great side, but I think they've got enough about them with the points total they've got at this moment in time, with the games that they've got.
3 home games should be enough.
Well, that's my point. So that's the reasons why, to go to my flippancy, that's the reasons why I've made that flippant observation about Man United.
Only 1 point more than Liverpool.
And that's fine, but they've got a game in hand.
Yeah. Jim, it always looks easy, doesn't
it?
It always looks easy for people watching from the outside. But, there'd have been an inquest at the club today, and they need to sort it out, Manchester United. They can't just be throwing things away.
They were walking out with heads down last night.
For sure.
Sure.
It'll wake them up. They've had 2 results in a week. The Brighton result, you've got to give context to Brighton and how good they've become. Yeah. And the fact that they would want some retribution for what they would feel was an unfair loss in the FA Cup semi-final. Yeah. So that result had something written on it.
I'll tell you whose fault it is.
Who?
Well, I won't. Let Gary Neville tell you. United's so poor in this game. Then he goes on The real disgrace of the Glazers. Are they waiting for the last game at Old Trafford to pass? It would be typical of them. Weak and shirking accountability and responsibility to the very end. Members of staff on and off the pitch are in an uncertain position, waiting for the owners, the new owners, let alone recruitment and what budget there's going to be. This should have been done. Classless to the end. It's the Glazers' fault.
Well, listen, that's playing to a gallery, isn't it? That's playing to an audience. Given the fact that I doubt he didn't have a problem playing for the Glazers for all those years, did he? He didn't have this sentiment when he was taking their particular pound. He's entitled to his view. I doubt that he has much managerial experience of what the Glazers are really like. I'm not going to defend the Glazers because every time I open my mouth about them, I suggest that this is the real world. Grow up and stop whining. You've got a football club that yes, it could have spent £1 billion more over the last 10 years, but it's already spent much more than everybody else. And it's the people that they've recruited and the people that have managed their club that haven't done a good job. Now, whether Ed Woodward's in that equation, whether Jose Mourinho's in that equation, whether Van Gaal's in that equation, whether whoever else we can put in. The one thing I can never give them a pass for, ever, is the 3 years that they alighted upon Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I can never program that into my mindset as the actions of a big football club operating at the highest level. But this is just silly stuff. Look, United are going to spend the same money that they spend in every transfer window, irrespective of who's the owner. And people that don't understand the nature of business are going to say, oh, there's going to be uncertainty. There's no uncertainty. First and foremost, we see many football clubs, for example, Sheffield United, whose boardroom's in chaos, transfer embargo, don't know who's going to own a football club. Oh, they got promoted. Oh, it doesn't count then, does it? Only counts when it goes the other way. It's nonsense. It's crap. It's football mythology. The players are on one island and the owners are on another. Half the time, the players wouldn't even recognise who the owner is.
So is this utter tripe to bring the Glazers into this after last night?
Well, of course it is. Of course it is. If Man United win the FA Cup, right, just say they win the FA Cup.
Right.
Do you think the old de facto mayor of Manchester will pop up and turn around and say, that's because of the Glazers? Well, of course he won't, will he? He'll turn around and say it's because of everything else. It's in spite of the Glazers.
Martin, you played, we didn't. Is there one United player, and I watched them last night, I was standing right beside them at the end of the game. Is there one United player last night who's got the Glazers in his head?
Well, they shouldn't be in their head, should it? If you're a player, you just concentrate on what's in front of you. You know, you don't worry about ownership. You worry about opportunity that's there. And they have an opportunity to make the top four. Can't be moaning about who's the owners of the football club, Jimmy. It's not really coming into your head. Of course, it's uncertainty and you want it resolved as soon as possible. But there's a game to play.
It's not classless, is it? I mean, ultimately, you're doing a business deal. It's like railing against the system whilst paying your hotel workers minimum wage. Is that hypocrisy? I wouldn't know who did that. But the point is this. If you look at the dynamics of it, it's got nothing to do with the sentiments behind what the Glazers are doing. One thing is a commercial transaction. Yes, he has a case to answer. I really don't think they've gone for best in class in a number of occasions. And when they have got best in class, they've got best in class that have been past their sell-by date or didn't actually want to be at Man United for any period of time, wanted to live in a hotel and commute back to London.
But 100% you say Manchester United and Newcastle United will end up top four.
It's my view.
Okay.
It's my view.
All right. Manchester United fans listening this morning, we'll concentrate on you fairly and squarely. Top four. You're as confident as you were before last night's match. A match you went on to lose at the London Stadium by a single goal to nil. 03717 223344 810 89. It's a massive day of football.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.